at the beginning, I think you're kind of trying to get used to the situation, you know, and you want to be the best possible dad, you know, you can be. So you're like, you hear one thing in the night, and you're like, oh, let me go get it, you know, and Mirka, you stay, and then all of a sudden you realize after a few days, I'm a little bit tired on the practice courts, maybe, you know, so maybe I need to slow it down when I play tournaments. So actually by now we have a good system going on. You know, we also have some help, which we need to also for Mirka, especially with two. But honestly, it's been going well. But and Mirka, she's super fast on her feet. You know, I sometimes don't even hear anything when I'm sleeping. She's already long time taking care of the babies. So
it was a special year for you because you had the French Open for the first time,
yeah,
the 15 Grand Slam titles, and the fatherhood. What's the highlight?
Yeah, it's like 4 Grand Slams, right? And on top of that, I got married too. So it's been you know, a heck of a year. And I mean, I guess having the 2 girls is absolute number one.
With the babies coming and Federer, the family man transformation, a lot of people were thinking, how is he going to stay motivated to play tennis?
Well, I mean, the motivation for me is anyway not a problem. I love the sport too much to just say, you know what, I've won all the slams, I've won the world championships 4 times, and I have 2 beautiful daughters and a wife, and now I'm happy, let's leave, you know. This is not the way I see it. I like to stay in this game as long as possible, and as long as my wife allows me to, because obviously she also has a big say.
Is the hunger still going to be there, though, when you're down 5-2 in the 5th set of a Grand Slam quarter or semi? Is the hunger still going to be there?
It will definitely be there, otherwise I will not step on court. But you're right that you have to prepare yourself a little bit differently sometimes, because you know, there are times in my life where I'm so content with you know, the preparation, with my life, having family. The next thing you know is that maybe at 5-2 in the third, there is something lacking. So that's why for every match I have to, you know, speak to my coach, speak to my condition trainer, speak to my physio, and say, okay, here we go, what's the plan of attack?
CNN recently had a chance to speak with Rafa Nadal out in Asia. He described your rivalry as being a friendly rivalry, and there's no question he has a lot of respect for you, not only as a player, but as a person. How tough is it to keep a friendly rivalry when you know you have to beat that guy on the other side of the net?
In the beginning it was absolutely no problem because we didn't know each other that well, but I always felt he gave me a tremendous amount of respect, and I'm the same anyway as well. I always thought he was a wonderful player and a nice guy too, you know. I mean, now today we sit on the player council board, on the player council together. I'm the president, he's the vice president, and we're all serious, you know, but we do talk a lot about what's good for the game, and I think we realize today what position and what role we have to play, you know, in our sport as well. And I think we both try to, you know, have the best possible image for children, for fans, to actually also maybe show that there is a different way of having a rivalry, not always, you know, sort of that very aggressive rivalry, but a friendly one too. Once we go out on court, of course we try to beat each other, but I think we walk off the court and we're friends. So.
But you never had a moment when you lost those French Open finals to think, man, I can't stand this guy.
Well, I think because I was dominating so much in the beginning, that I always said, I don't need a rival, because I'm happy the way it is now, you know, with me dominating, but I think the rivalry has definitely lifted my game up. It's lifted maybe even the whole sport up, you know, to see sort of me facing off against Rafa. I think people really got a kick out of that, and I started to then understand and respect the rivalry even more so. And this is, I think, when I started to embrace it, and I said, you know what, without Rafa, maybe I wouldn't be this big. Without me, he wouldn't be this big.
How much attention do you pay to the records and the statistics and go through and say, yep, I've done that, haven't done that yet, but there's not many that you can say that you haven't done. How do you look at your legacy while you're still playing?
Well, look, it's a lot of fun reading about stuff I have achieved and hearing all the praises from legends and experts and stuff like that. Then when I don't play so well, I don't read much, you know. So I try only to read the positive parts, you know, because I don't want to be influenced or, you know, really in a negative way. But it's been an amazing last few years playing for the record books, you know, playing against the new generation like Rafa and Djokovic and Murray and so forth and Del Potro. And, you know, being healthy and being part of I think I've been in 22 straight semifinals now, Grand Slam at least, or 17 of the last 18 Grand Slam finals.
So you know the numbers.
I know the numbers, and those I'm very sort of proud of, because always being there at the end of a tournament in the biggest events we have is something, it's the best, you know, because more fans can get to see me, I can play more in front of them. So this is something that gives me the kick and keeps me motivated for many more years to come, really.
Andre Agassi was one of the greatest ever. Yeah. The revelations made in his autobiography recently surprised a lot of people, disappointed a lot of people. What surprised you the most?
The drug issue for me is partially disappointing, just because taking drugs is something we don't want in our sport at all. But I don't think it was intended to actually help his sport. So I think you have to also separate that a little bit, and also not to forget what a great champion he is and how well he handled himself at the end of his career. The only problem for us now is like he does leave a little bit of a cloud over our sport. You know, that we need to clean up. You know, that people might think that drugs are possible in our sport, that they will be covered by somebody, but honestly, I mean, times have changed dramatically in the last 15 years, and we're being tested severely and a lot, and you never know, they might be walking in the door right now and coming for a test.